Alright, people, I finally made starting to make the video. The Mentzer experience, the entire summary of the journey that I kind of made up for myself and the whole high intensity training, um, whatever you might call it, whatever. But yeah, sorry about taking so long to make this video. I had some things going on that I just had to handle, and I've been quite busy, to be honest. But anyway, first off, I want to say very much thank you to Mike Mentzer and all of his work and what he's accomplished and what he was trying to tell all of us. This has by far been one of the best experiences I've ever had in weightlifting in my entire life, of just pure muscle gain. That's what I mean. And not even just pure muscle gain, but a lot of other things psychologically too. And I fully respect the man, and may he rest in peace. I may talk about him more in the future in some other videos, but as of right now, we're just gonna focus on what is going on. But I'm pretty sure some of you want to know, if you started the journey with me and seeing the measurements and everything that I took, then you want to know what happened. So yeah, I kind of wrote them down and everything. So I actually grew quite a bit, and for all of you right now, before I say how much I've grown, sorry about that. The whole muscle building experience or whatever, if you're actually advanced and know your shit about all of this, then you know muscle building takes a good while to actually uh, make some good progress with that. So I'm happy with the progress I made, but other than that, I'm gonna just get started and tell you what happened. So I started with my neck, and my neck was about 15 inches when I first started, and then it grew to 16 inches. And I don't have it on video. I don't have none of it on video, so you have to just take my word for it. I'm not lying about it. I mean, these are pretty accurate. So yeah, and even though I didn't do really a lot of neck training either, this is just my neck just grew from as a byproduct from the training that I was doing. I don't really want like a big thick ass fucking neck. That's not my thing. And my chest, I actually didn't measure my chest at first because I actually didn't know how, but then I just said, might as well. And it looked like it's grown a good bit, and it feels like it has, but it's about 42 inches. And my bicep, both of my biceps are the same. They started at 17 inches and they grew 1 inch to 18 inches. My thighs, these are the ones I was really surprised with. These are the ones that I really wanted to grow the most, was my legs. And my thighs, my hamstring, and quad, we started at 22 inches and we ended off at 25 inches, which is a pretty big jump, to be honest. And I've noticed the difference. It's just like a lot of my pants and everything fits a lot more differently. I don't want to do the glutes because I don't know how to measure my ass, so you just gotta take it as it is. Just my ass grew, you know. Well, I got BBLs in this bitch, but my calves, I mean, they started at 15 inches and then they grew to 16 inches. That's one thing that kind of, it doesn't eat at me, but due to how my genetics are, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all know how black people work. It's just like a lot of times we don't have the biggest legs. We have more of a somewhat bigger upper body, unless you're on gear or whatever like that. But they grew an inch, and I'm happy about that, to be honest. Like, growth is growth, so it takes time. But at the same time, too, I didn't really like train my my calves. I'm not gonna say not hard because I trained them hard. It's just the progressive overload. I didn't induce as much of a progressive overload as I should have. It's like I kept doing the weight that I usually would do, like on the donkey calf raise. I do like 700 pounds for reps, and these are like not like bullshitting reps, like quality reps and everything. I have very strong calves, so I could have pushed a lot more weight than that. But either way, an inch is an inch. All right, if you can grow an inch on your dick, you pretty much be happy. So grow an inch in my calves. I'm happy with that. In my forearms, I think my forearms, I started at about 12 or 13 inches. If y'all want to look back on that first video, but they grew to about 14 inches, and I could tell because my forearms and my arms just got bigger. And my weight. So I was trying to get to 220 when I started this whole journey just to see how that would be and everything. And I didn't do the most prettiest type of bulk because I honestly, it's like I don't even care about saying the excuses thing. I genuinely didn't feel like doing any meal prepping and shit like that. But I still gained the weight, and I ate some. I ate a good amount of clean food, but I ate not the best food at times. And I'm not gonna lie about that. But I still grew, and I just wanted to get to 220. That was just the goal. It wasn't even just a clean, a good aesthetic 220. It was just 220. But I didn't even reach the goal. The highest I got was 215. The highest I've weighed myself was 217. So I got close, and I'm pretty good with that. And I was pretty fucking big. I was pretty big. But the crazy thing is, I still felt like I was 190 or 194 or 200 or something. I still felt like light but heavy, even though I was pretty heavy, which is just how I came about it. It's like not everybody's gonna feel like that, so don't try to shit on me. Don't try to shit on me. That's just my experience. But I was pretty big, and that was when I was eating about. I would say I was eating about 3,200 calories, which is probably the most I've ever eaten in my life because I don't like to eat a lot. I usually just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and just probably have some snacks in between or probably just fast or something like that. And I'll just stay at maintenance calories because that's just how I feel good. I don't like to eat a lot even though I love food. I just like to eat one big meal and then just be good for the rest of the day. That's just how I like to eat. But yeah, I was eating about 3,200 calories. I didn't really care about tracking it so much, but I just did it for the experience. And the lowest I would get is probably like 2,500. And I started the whole journey at 194. That was 194 was the base weight that I started this at. And then now my base weight now, every time I wake up, is around 206 to 207. So I've gained about 6, 13 pounds, 13, 12 pounds or something like that, just doing this. And I feel pretty good. I still feel very light, and I still feel very mobile and everything. It's just I didn't sustain any injuries. I stayed on course, and I tried to stay on course. I mean, life gets busy. So, but other than that, I made some very good, significant growth from doing this. And this is very much amazing. But I have a lot more to talk about. That was just the start of everything. I still have like the psychological aspects, the rest days and everything, but let's get into that. But I'm just gonna start this in the way that I went about the training, how my days went, how the intensity was. I'm just gonna start like how that was. So first thing is the warm up. How would you go about warming up for something like this? Usually, when people warm up, they like to warm up only the body parts that they're going to work out. And it's just like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like if you want to get a significant amount of blood flow into the muscle that you're doing, and you're not gonna go as intense into doing this, then by all means, as long as you have a good significant warm up, there's nothing wrong with that. But something you have to realize with this type of training, the intensity of this type of training, or take for Olympic weightlifting training, for example, powerlifting training. If you're gonna do something that's intense, or like a heavy single or something, I highly recommend that you warm up your entire body. Whether that takes 15 minutes or 30 minutes, probably an hour, whatever you feel good as. Some people are gonna say like, yeah, you should only do 15 minutes of warm up or something like. No, warm up however the fuck you think you should warm up, because that's going to make or break you in what you're doing on that day. Your body, you have to treat your body as like a combustion engine. The more air it can take in, the more power you could put out, the more intensity you could have. And that's the way I go about it. And it's like if I'm gonna train just my arm, like take for example, if I'm gonna train just my arms, when I would train just my arms for this training, I wouldn't just warm up my arms and my shoulders and just like, okay, let's get into it. I have to prime my entire body for what the fuck I'm about to do. The intensity has to be otherworldly, and my body has to be prepped. Blood is flowing throughout your entire body, not just those muscles that you're doing. In some way, shape, or form, you work your arms, you're going to tense up your legs. And if your legs aren't warm up, that's extra energy that you're wasting that you could be putting into working on your arms if you allowed that blood flow to go through your legs. And you have to realize that the blood vessels are everywhere and air flows everywhere through your body. And you want that airflow throughout your entire body so you can produce that intensity, so you could be as primal as you need to be in this, so you could be focused, so you could put every inch of effort into this workout, because this is not an easy workout. This isn't easy. People think that you could just go into this workout and do it and just yell and scream. Like, no, this shit is a lot more than that. If you know how to use your body and you know what your body is capable of, then you know what the fuck is going to be up when you do this training. And so you have to break through that. You have to understand that. It's like I would never put somebody through this type of training if they are new to this. Like you can't just throw them into that. Not everybody's going to adapt that fast, and you might have muscle strains and everything like that, and all that bad stuff that you don't want. So you need a good warm up. You always want a good warm up. It's just like doing this type of training made me realize how important warming up my entire body is. I'll warm up my body for about 20 minutes to probably 30 minutes, probably 45 if I really need to, if I really have to, if I'm feeling it, because I have to pay attention to my body that well. You want to pay attention to your body that well. If you don't, and you're fucked. You could be. You could be. There's always some outliers in that. But other than that, treat your warm up as you would treat a normal workout. Just you don't have to be as crazy intense and yelling and shit like that. You don't have to do that. I know Mike Mentzer talked about warming up in a different way, probably different than mine, but the same. I stick with the same concept of intensity and doing the rest days and stuff like that, and adding my own little twist. It's just I always like to add my own little twist to things, and I kind of look at Dorian Yates training and put some of his stuff in there too, and just like added up my own little thing, and just paid attention to how my body felt. I did this by my perspective, not just the perspective of Mike Mentzer and everything. You have to do stuff with the perspective of you if you actually know yourself, and that's what you have to realize. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you get the gist of the warm up and everything. But that's how the warm up is. That's how you should treat a warm up. That's the thing. But I'll get back into that a little bit more because I got another topic I like to speak about that has to do with that as well. But there goes this damn bird or whatever. I think it's a bird. But next is the intensity. The fucking intensity. One of the main things that this is known for is the intensity. And all I have to say about the intensity is that it's a true art. It is a true art of war. You have to prime yourself with knowing that you are going to exert every ounce of energy that you have out of yourself, endure as much pain, and be comfortable with that pain. Being comfortable with pain is basically not complaining about it and just doing what's necessary. That's it. Being comfortable with the pain. It's just endurance. There's a lot of endurance, more mental endurance than anything. and it's going to hurt a lot, and it hurt a lot, but it didn't hurt to the fact that I want to give up. It hurt at the fact that I have to stop because I want to keep going more. You gotta be a little psychotic when you do this shit. You gotta realize that. And I didn't want to stop, but the intensity is something that not a lot of people have. The intensity is something that has to be built up from years and time of training. The amount of effort you can put in with the intensity is the amount of effort that you have put in with any type of physical work that you've put in your life that you can endure. Like me, for example, I've done a lot of wrestling. I've done a lot of sports in my life to where I was in the blazing fucking heat. I was damn near on the verge of crying. I was in the cold. I had to endure a lot of things. I was just outside doing shit. And I put myself through a lot of mental pain to test my limits because I wanted to, not because I had to, not like it was a job, because I just wanted to test my limits. So I've built that foundation to endure the intensity and the pain that goes through this. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about that. This takes time. That's why I said, like, you will never want to start somebody who's new onto something like this. You will hurt yourself. You can, because you don't even know how to use your body yet. The intensity is like doing Navy SEAL training. It's like, all right, don't even hit me with that shit. It's like, it's not the same as everything. Like, you have to think about it in the same concept of it. Like, it's pain and it hurts, and you have to endure it for a while, and you have to endure it for a fast amount of time. 6 reps, one set will feel like 4 sets combined into one. Pretty sure I just reversed what I just said, if you know what I mean. But yeah, one set will feel like 4, and 10 reps will feel like 100 reps. That's what it has to feel like. Constantly doing, because that's what the intensity is. And you can scream, you can yell if you want to hold it in, but the screaming and yelling is something that might be looked down upon, especially by those who don't have that grit in them, who don't have that adrenaline junkie psychological trait like many of us do. It's like, you can't give in to the societal norms of the way you train. If you train the way you train and you like the way you train, if you want to scream and yell and do whatever you can, if that's given in that environment, if you can do that in that environment, by all means do that. You should not give a fuck about what anybody thinks. If it makes you feel good, if that's what you want to do, by all means. But if you're in an environment that doesn't allow that, then respect that environment. I'm not just saying go fucking full Mad Max in that bitch. I mean, respect is respect. It's just like, respect the shit. I was just lucky enough and fortunate enough to be in an environment that allowed me to do that. Even though people were looking, I was like, I don't care. It's just like, I liked it. And I pushed myself to a point where even the people that I was calling to help me were getting fatigued, because I just wanted to do it that bad. I wanted to push it that bad. I wanted to push it that hard. And it's like, they didn't even know how to help. Don't get me wrong. That's one thing. Finding a good training partner for this is not if you have a good one that can push you good, if you could look at Dorian Yates' video and look at his training partner, then you can see, like, that's the type of training partner that you would want, or something near that. I just wasn't fortunate enough to have that. I just needed somebody to help me lift that fucking weight when I needed to, and that's basically it. But I was getting other people a little bit fatigued about trying to help me, if you haven't seen. And that's fine. I mean, they didn't get hurt, and they were willing to do it, and that's all I needed. It's just like, that's how much I pushed myself into doing it and to wanting to do it, because I enjoyed it that much, and I wanted to induce that effort. I wanted to prove Mike Mentzer right, even though he's proven right. And it was more so I respected him, and to be honest, more so respect to him. But other than that, if you get the idea of intensity, I don't want to make it too long, because I could talk about intensity for a while. then you get the idea of intensity. It's a lot more than just going in that bitch and just yelling. More than that. But yeah, that was it for that. And I got some more points that I have to talk about, but I have to pull it up because I actually put these in an order. So the other thing is muscle contraction. Now this is a big one. They are all big ones. They are all big ones. But muscle contraction is one of the very big ones that a lot of people don't talk about. Probably your favorite YouTuber or anything they don't talk about. And this comes with the enhancement of the mind-body connection. And what I mean by that is some in one of Mike Mentzer's books, he talks about neurological efficiency. And big ass wasp that was on me just now. I'm like in the middle of nature, and if something stings me, then I'm fucked. But other than that, I don't want to kill that wasp, but I don't fuck with bugs. So neurological efficiency is something he talked about, and that's basically your adaptation, a person's personal and genetic adaptations to the muscle fiber density that is within their genetic system, and how much of those muscle contractions will induce a better, how much of those muscle fibers will induce a better muscle contraction due to what your genetics are, or simply how much work you put into enhance those motor units, basically those contractile fibers within your system. I'm basically just saying if you kind of lost however much muscle you can contract with maximum effort. That's all I'm saying basically. I just like to say it like that because it feels good when you kind of know shit. But other than that, it's like there are some people can contract about 30%, which is probably about on a lower percentage rating. Some people could go to 40, which is on very much a higher one. Some genetic anomalies can get to 50, which is very high. I'm just saying, I feel like I could get to 50 or something close to that. The muscle contraction is a very big fucking key. And that's something that you have to realize. It is a very big key. It's like I might get stung by a bug or something out here, but it's like the more you can contract the muscle, the more you can induce a growth from the muscle. And people talk about, yeah, just lift the weight, just throw the weight. Just like, no, throwing the weight don't do shit. It does like the least amount of shit. Unless you're an Olympic powerlifter that has to use a lot of power and have to throw weight just for the sake of throwing weight to propulse it, then you don't have to do it. Muscle building is way different than Olympic powerlifting. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us know that. And this isn't that. Of course, you need muscle and you need strength, but we're looking for muscle and the best contraction to induce muscle growth. And the beautiful thing about that is once you realize that you can have a better mind-body connection by contracting those muscles as best as you can, then your muscle building career, your bodybuilding career can go far. And you have to contract the muscle with so much force on each rep, not just one rep, not just the last rep, not just the first or the last rep, on each singular fucking rep. You have to contract with 100% intensity to induce growth, to induce that mind-body connection. Don't use as much momentum. If you need to use a slightly bit momentum, by all means, but that's usually at the end of the reps. That's usually at the end if you need to, if you're starting to fatigue, if you need to throw the shit, then by all means. But don't just start throwing fucking weight at the beginning. You want to tuck in and you want to contract each time. You want to control the weight. That's true strength training. True strength comes from having your cadence, your momentum taken out the picture completely. And that could come, and that can, you taking that out, that will increase your muscle fiber density, how much you can contract the muscle to induce more growth down the line. It's going to fucking hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. When you contract the muscle at 100% intensity, that's why you don't see a lot of people do it on a quad extension or a hamstring curl or a tricep push down. Just like a lot of times you see people do with a lot of momentum. A lot of times, it's just like, what's really going through their head? They probably just don't want to contract that muscle fully because their body knows that it's going to hurt if you try to do that fully. And some people can't get over that pain threshold, but that's what you have to get over, is that pain threshold in order to produce a better muscle contraction. And that's a lot about this, is the pain. And the pain is going to hurt. But that's what keeps it going. That's what can keep you going. And it's all about what you can put your body through. I'm sorry, I'm trying to. I wrote down some other stuff too. And yeah, your now morphology, how your morphology is, your somatotype, if you know what that is. Basically, your the way your body's built, the way your physiological structure is built. If you're endomorph, ectomorph, or mesomorph, or anything, me myself, I'm a mesomorph. I can just naturally more athletic and everything, and mesomorphs have big ass heads. I got a big ass head and shit like that. So, I mean, I still got it like that sometimes, but you know. Anyway, that will also determine what you can do and what your capabilities are on the first hand, on like the first parts of it. Some people, this is easier for some people to adapt to. It will affect your adaptability to this. Some people won't adapt to it that well, and that's fine. What you just have to realize is, if you stay in tune with with the mental aspect of it, then you can increase yourself. You don't have to be the best. You just have to do you, and that's where the muscle contraction will come from. That's where you can increase your muscle contraction. I'm not just saying like, don't just put all your fucking your eggs in a basket with genetics. I mean, yes, genetics play a big part in a lot of things. They do. But at a lot of times too, genetics ain't always the end all be all. You can always push past genetics. All right? But always remember that there are outliers that will be better than you at a lot of things, and that can be better at you at a lot of things.